Hey guys, Austin Dillon with Pierce Phelps Technical Support. I'm here today with Mike Sherlin, our training manager, and we're at Valley Forge in our ductless training facility. And today Mike's going to go over with us how to approach some diagnostic issues with the ductless equipment. Mike, what did you have in mind for us today?
Today I was going to look at an E1 error code, which is a communication code.
Okay, and what does it mean when I see an E1 fault code on my indoor equipment?
An E1 fault code is when there's a lack of communication or not communicating between the indoor and outdoor unit.
Okay, and you're going to show us how to address that in the field?
Yes, so what we'll do is we'll go over to one of the units and I'll show you what it looks like when we have a good communicating unit, and then what happens to one when we have a unit that is no longer communicating.
Hi, today we're going to go over communications issue, an E1 error code on a carrier ductless mini split. So today we're going to show you how to check that communications. The communications between the indoor and outdoor is a DC signal. So the first thing you want to do is turn on your meter, set it to voltage. We're going to turn the light on here so we can see what we're looking at. And the next thing you have to do is set it to the DC rating on your select button. So now you got the DC symbol up there. Now we're going to check between L2 and S. That is your communication. Your L1 and L2 is power in. L2 and S is your communication back and forth between the two units. So we're going to take our black lead and put it onto your S. You're going to take your red lead and put it onto your L2. And what you're going to see is a fluctuating DC signal between positive and negative. The negative is going to pop up every so often. As you can see, it's going to be mostly positive, but you'll see how the negative pops up. It's going to fluctuate up and down. You're going to go down to 0, go up. Voltage isn't so much an issue as it is you want to see the positive and negative going back and forth. Now we're going to show you what a communication looks like with a unit that is not working properly. So we're going to now do the same test. We're going to go from L2 with your red lead, S with your black lead, and now you're going to see and notice a different reading on there. It's still going to fluctuate, but as you notice, it never goes into a negative, and you would see that negative pop up right around here. If that negative never pops up, what that's telling you is that you have a possible issue with your outdoor unit. You're not getting communication to the indoor unit. Your indoor is sending a positive signal out. The negative signal from the outdoor unit is not getting received back. So with that, we have to go and check the outdoor unit to see if there's either an issue with the wire or possibly an issue with something outside. All right, so earlier we showed you what a communication problem looked like when the outdoor equipment was the problem. Now we're going to take a look at what the communication issue would be if we had a problem with the indoor unit. So we're going to still take the same DC reading across L2 and S. So L2 is red, S is your black lead. And now if you notice, we have a steady negative voltage on our meter. Earlier we had a fluctuating positive only voltage. So that's telling me that my outdoor board is okay, but I am not getting the signal from my indoor board. So now that leads me to look at our indoor board over our outdoor board, or the wire between the two of them. So let's go inside and take another reading to see if the wire is bad or if it's a possible indoor board issue. All right, now we just showed you that we might have a problem with the indoor unit at the outdoor unit, so we've moved on to the indoor unit to show you what voltage you would get at the indoor unit. So we're going to check the same two terminals, the L2 and S. So our red is going to go on to L2, and our black is going to go on to our S. And outside we had a steady negative DC voltage. Now you see we have a positive DC voltage fluctuating, kind of like we had when we thought we had an issue outside. So what we have done here, if you look, we've disconnected the S wire going to the outdoor unit. So what this is telling you is that we're getting a good DC signal out of the outdoor board because we isolated it, and our problem isn't with a circuit board, The problem is with our wire from the inside to the outside. Remember, outside we had the negative steady voltage. Now we have a fluctuating voltage, positive on the inside, so that means they're not communicating correctly between the two of them, and that leads us to having a wire issue. All right, now we just showed you what it looked like when we possibly had a wire issue with a communicating problem with the indoor unit, but now we're going to check it out with a problem with a possible board issue. So we're going to check our leads once again to L2 and S. Once again, make sure you use the right leads. Almost made a mistake there. Red's going to go on L2, black's going to go on to S. And as you notice, it's now back to a negative DC voltage, steady and not fluctuating. So what that's telling you is that the communication from the outdoor unit is fine. It's my communication from the indoor board that is giving us an issue. So something with the indoor board or components to the indoor unit is what's causing our communication problem.
All right, Mike, so now that we've seen how to check communication, what are some of the issues that we see in the field that lead to these types of problems?
Also, that's a great question. So one of the things that we have to look for is to make sure we're using the correct wire. Our wiring has to be a 14 gauge, 3-wire stranded with a ground, so that it has good communication. Now, stranded wire is very important. We don't want to use a solid wire. Communication runs better on a stranded wire. You have more strands for it to run on. The other thing that we want to look at is whether or not the terminals are placed on the right on the board. So L1, L2, and S all have to be the same on the indoor and the outdoor unit. Meaning I can't use L1 and L2 if I'm going to use red and black as L1 and L2 on the indoor unit. I can't use black and red flip-flopped on the indoor unit. It won't work. You'll have a communication problem that way.
Okay, and what about splices?
We should have no splices in the system. So it should be a home run from the outdoor unit to the indoor unit, no splices at all.
Okay, that's great. Is there anything else that we should be looking for?
We should be looking for to make sure the terminals are tight, make sure there's no loose wires inside, make sure that all the connections, even from the factory, you might go to the board, make sure that your terminal is connected to the board tight, because sometimes if that's not plugged in or it came loose, you could also have an issue there.
Okay, that's good to know. Is there anything else?
Yeah, if all that looks okay and your wiring's good and everything is like it should be and you're still having this communication problem, you could have a problem with either your indoor board or your outdoor board, depending upon what way your test took you. Also, if it is on the outdoor and indoor, components of that unit could cause you problems. In that case, if you're still having an issue and you're not sure where to go, please give us a call on our tech helpline.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. All right, well, thanks for sharing all that with us today.
No problem. Thank you.